Thank you, Sarah, for this conversation. I'm joined by Dr. Rose Gidado, Director of Agricultural Biotechnology Department, as well as Oluwajomiloju Asagidigbi, a registered dietitian. Thank you very much, ladies, for being here. Let me start with you, Dr. Gidado. The GMO foods, according to NAFDAC, are not inherently harmful and are safe for consumption when safety guidelines are followed. Do you agree with NAFDAC's position? If yes, where is all this unsafe talk stemming from? Same question, if no, as well, what's the origin of the campaigns against GMOs?
I quite agree with the position of the Director General CEO, NAFDAC, on the safety of GMOs, for sure, because the most credible and authoritative international regulatory bodies like the WHO, like the FAO, they have affirmed the safety of GMOs, and also the British Medical Association and the United States Medical Association, they've all endorsed the safety of GMOs. There's no doubt about that. And in Nigeria, we have the National Biosafety Management Agency that is saddled, with the responsibility of ensuring safety of GMOs that are developed in Nigeria. So we have all the regulatory frameworks, that can actually allay our fears, so that Nigerians will be sure that yes, these foods are really regulated, or the crops, the genetically modified crops that are developed within the country, of course, they follow the safety procedures. They are scrutinized, they're highly scrutinized. They're the most scrutinized foods in the history of mankind, globally, not only in Nigeria, but globally. And the safety of the use and consumption of GMOs, is there. The safety, history of safety is already established in the US, in Canada, in Japan, in China, in India, In Africa, we have Malawi, we have Nigeria, we have South Africa, we have Kenya. So I can go on and on. We have Burkina Faso. So the safety is already is already established.
Okay, but there are arguments, I'm sure you've heard a zillion of them, on the potential health risk like allergic reaction, toxicity, as well as concerns about environmental impact of these GMOs. Some even argued that they haven't been adequately tested for long-term human health effects. I mean, you've heard of all of this. So the question would be, how active is the National Biosafety Management Agency in Nigeria in ensuring that products meet safety standards, especially knowing that we don't have a history of self-maintenance?
Please, can you get it right? The National Biosafety Management Agency in Nigeria, of course, is the national competent authority on this. They are well-trained, they have well-trained staff. They have a laboratory for carrying out evaluations, and they have been doing that from 2015 when the agency was established. Anybody either importing GMO seeds, either products or whatever, either for animal feed, must apply to the agency. Of course, you apply to the agency receives your application and then scrutinizes your application, and then they actually report back to you, they write back to you, and then they set up a committee. They have a National Biosafety Committee and a technical committee together, and they invite experts. They don't do it just on their own. They have experts, all over, depending on the type of crop you're actually importing, or the type of, crop, of course, or any, either animal feed or for whatever that you're either developing within the country or you're importing for food or for feed or whatever. You have to really, go through the agency, and the agency actually does justice to all this. You just have to, go through all those regulatory hurdles. If you are carrying out development of a genetically modified crop, or you're improving any crop for whatever trait that you so wish, you must go through all those hurdles. It takes like 10 to 13 years. The genetically modified beans that we have presently, we call it the pod borer resistant cowpea. The cowpea was developed for more than 10 years in Nigeria, and it was only released in 2018. So it took so many years, to really come out, because after you have done the proof of concept and you have actually established that this gene is safe for use, then the next is for you to carry out evaluations. We have a lot of safety evaluations. We have food, feed,
Okay, so you're just basically affirming that they do their job to the best of your knowledge.
Yes,
sorry to interject. I'm told we have 3 minutes for this conversation, and I now have Asagidigbi to talk to us, a dietitian, on the subject of GMOs as well. I want to welcome to the news. Talk to us about concerns that the use of GMOs could lead to increased control of agriculture by few large corporations.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible, especially if they have the connection, especially to those kind of companies. Yes, it's possible.
All right. May I ask you about the argument that many GMO crops are engineered for herbicidal resistance, which can lead to increased herbicide use and potential environmental contamination? Is there any real evidence to this, to your knowledge?
Okay, so the knowledge of this is based on rumors, but there's a possibility, because in the past, the reason why GMO has come into limelight was to help with pest control. But now, looking at GMO, we want them to be able to consider nutritional quality, because as a dietitian, my concern mainly is for the nutritional quality of these products. While they are considering making sure that these products are, there's pest control, we need to also put in consideration what nutritional qualities are better for this kind of product. So for me, yes, pest control, pesticides and herbicides have been a problem, but the major issue that we should most likely look at is nutritional quality of these foods. So I think that's where our focus should be.
So I get it that you don't have anything against GMO food yourself as well. You think it's the next thing in agriculture.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes,
quickly, before we come back to Dr. Gidado, I want to ask you about labeling. NAFDAC stresses that clear labeling is crucial for consumer information and, informed choices. Please explain to us in layman terms why this is crucial. Even for dietitians, you need to know exactly, right, what you were getting.
Yes, exactly. Like I said before, nutritional quality is very important, and us dietitians like to read labeling, especially for before we can recommend things for patients and for clients. We have to be able to read labeling. So if the labeling lets us know this is a GMO product, this is what it contains, this is what it's lacking, this is what it doesn't have, then we know whether or not to introduce those things for our clients or our patients, as well as allergens. You mentioned something about allergens. It's very important that we put that in perspective for these kind of products, because you don't know what kind of thing has been introduced into the product that could be an allergen to one person or the other.
All right, so I guess on the one hand, the National Biosafety Management Agency ensures that these things are safe, and then on the other hand, we look at the dietary aspect of it. Doctor, let me come back to you. I understand it is NAFDAC's job to ensure that all GMO products undergo rigorous safety assessment and evaluations before being approved for consumption. With what we know about their work, are you worried there are gaps or leaks that may also be fueling this campaign against GMOs?
Oh, well, to my understanding, there's no concern. There are no gaps. Because for now, the commercialization of GM foods are just beginning. Like I said the last time, we don't have them in our groceries and what. But by the time we get into that stage, of course, they'll be properly labeled, because labeling actually informs choices. It gives the consumer information about what he or she is buying, and she has every right, of course, to have, to buy whatever she wants to buy based on that labeling. So labeling is there, is enshrined in the 2015.
Okay, I think the network has caught us off, but I think that's the much we can take for this conversation. Thank you very much, Dr. Gidado and Asagidigbi. I hope I got your name correct. Thank you so much for being here.